Hello, Cousin Johnny here. We'd like to thank our sponsors for the Buzzin' with Cousins show. We thank you. Thank you, that garlic stuff. If you like garlic, you're going to love it. Put it on just about anything. That garlic stuff. Tuesday, Alvarado Farmers Market, or go to thatgarlicstuff.com. Thank you. Thank you, Art. I Heart You Candles, located right in front of Fisherman's Wharf. Beautiful hand poured candles. These are very inspirational candles. Call Sherry at 574-9446, right in front of Fisherman's Wharf. They're great. Thank you, Max Fit Meals, 520 Fremont Street. Grab and go healthy meals. They're delish. On your way from home from work, go grab some, heat them up, and fantastic. Thank you, Suds Cyber Laundry, 709 Lighthouse, Pacific Grove. Great modern machines, big screen TV, coffee, and a great friendly staff. Thank you, Suds. Thank you, the Whiskey Club, 425 Alvarado Street. Over 400 whiskeys to choose from. Go in, relax, have a drink. They have a bottle shop. They have room for special events. The Whiskey Club, thank you. Thank you, storyteller, author, and all-around good guy, Tony Albano. Tony has written 3 books, the latest being Cherish, about a New York teenager and a nun find love. Thank you, Tony. And if you want to order the book or find out more about Tony, go to Tony, Tony, Albano, Albano, storyteller.com. Check it out. Thank you. Hello. Welcome to Buzzin' with Cousin Johnny here. How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's having a great day. I'm going to have a great day today because I've got a special guest here. I've been trying to get him on for a while, and I finally got him here. This gentleman is a singer, songwriter, recording artist, entertainer, and he plays a lot of instruments, a multi-instrumentalist. So please welcome Dan Frechette.
Hey,
Dan,
hey.
How you doing today?
It's great to see you. Happy day.
Thank you so much for coming on. I've seen your shows, and I kept saying, I need to get this guy on. This guy's something. He's different, you know. So welcome to the show. And so, Dan, where are you from, and how did you end up in Monterey Peninsula?
Yeah, it's about 10 years ago. It's a really interesting story because YouTube is a pretty special place that a lot of musicians go to, you know, hear other music and listen. And I'm a big fan of, you know, fiddle players. And I was just kind of down a rabbit hole on YouTube one night back in 2012. It was around May, and there'd been a couple feet of snow that fell outside. And it was just really, really miserable because we all wanted summer to start. And I remember just being on YouTube going, you know, I'm just checking out the fiddlers that I saw a thumbnail and I thought it was a friend of mine from BC that I knew. I was just going, it looks like her. Maybe she's made a music video. And I clicked on it. It was actually Laurel Thompson, who I sent a message to her because of her musicianship was like really, really impressive, especially her emotion that, you know, comes through in the music. And her intonation, which is, you know, perfect. She's a classically trained violinist. And so I sent a message to her. I was just writing to see if she was interested in collaborating online and seeing if she would want to do like maybe some remote recording or something. And we just started talking. And it was like a good 9 months of us being online as friends. And I said, you know, I have a some people who, like my dad had a stroke, passed away, actually, I should say. He passed away in 2007. And I had a bunch of gigs in California back then. And I canceled the whole tour because I was really depressed. And I couldn't really even look anyone in the eye. I was just like, it was a really hard time. So I wound up saying, like, I contacted some of these places. I said, I might even get a chance to play some gigs with you if I can call up these places that had me booked back in 2007 that still remember me and want me to come back. And she was interested. So I said, well, let's try to put something together, because I really liked chatting with her and she was really great. And we collaborated online. So what we did was I'd send a recording of me on my guitar playing a song, and then she would send back a violin and vocal overdub on top of it. So I heard what we sounded like ahead of time. So I had, we had like 25 recordings like that, all these songs. And so I was saying, this is bound to be a good collaboration. At least we can get on stage and play a couple of gigs, come down to California. It was March 2013. And I met her at the San Jose airport, and we played our first show together 24 hours later at the London Bridge Pub in Monterey. And
wow, what a story.
Yeah. So anyway, I met her, and then when we were playing together, it was so surreal because we're playing these songs that we already knew how they went. It was almost like we're doing a cover gig of our own show, because we'd heard the recordings for months and months, and here we are actually playing them. And it was really something to experience that. So then people came up to us during the break, and they're saying, oh, how long have you guys been playing together? It sounds like you guys really been playing a long time. Like, yeah, we met yesterday. So anyway, well, we started touring, and actually what happened was our tour went so well. It was like a really great tour. And so I said to her, why don't we tour again in the summer? I got a bunch of gigs booked in Western Canada. Would you want to just join me on those? Because I was kind of going, I've done so many solo gigs and solo tours, and it's all good, fun and all. But I just said, man, this is really fun. And she had a clear calendar for the most part, and she was up for the adventure. So all of a sudden, here we are. We're on the road, and we didn't have an album out. So we went to a church in Manitoba and recorded our first album. And now we have 5 albums. So what happened eventually, though, is we had a little bit of a problem with the border. And the Canadian border didn't believe her paperwork and her story at one point when we were crossing back and forth. And they banned her in January 2013. Or no, 2014. January 2014, they banned her for a whole year from Canada. And at that time, we'd already gone through this whirlwind romance. We were together all the time. We're in love, and we were engaged. So when I called the lawyer, I said, man, this is awful. My partner's been banned from the country. How can we work through this? And they wound up telling me about how, it's a good idea to go through this process. And, if you're engaged, go and get married, and go to California. And so I did that. And a couple months later, I was living here. So then I moved to Monterey to start. And then and from there, things built up slowly, because I had to sell everything I owned up there to be able to come down here. And I sold all my gear. I had nice stuff, National guitars. I'm pretty well known up there as a songwriter and musician. And I remember I did 4 CD release parties in 2012. And it was crazy. Every single CD release was a different genre. So I did a bluegrass one, I did a blues one, I did a folk one, and I did a Latin reggae one. And every one of them had a different audience. It was so cool. So I had this CD release parties, and it was going well in my career up there. I was doing well. But I came down here because I wanted to be with Laurel. And so here I am, and I'm building up my stuff again, slowly building up my stuff. I got a studio now behind me here. A friend of mine made me this guitar when the CZU fire happened. His name's Bruce Norton. And if you ever want to get a cigar box guitar, look up Bruce Norton. He's
that's great.
And he makes kazoos too. Look at this. He even made me a kazoo. Anyway, that's I like really, him. He's a nice guy.
That's really a great story.
Yeah. Building up, you got to build up again. It's like, it took a long time, but I did it.
Now you grew up in Canada, and you're well known in Canada, and you've written over 1,500 songs, right?
Yeah, I got it's crazy, but the amount of organization it takes to kind of have all this stuff set up. I have a Dropbox account and a YouTube channel with a whole like ton of privated videos. Like I have, okay, what happened when I first moved to California was I was bored stiff because I had, I was just hanging around waiting for a green card. It took like 8 months. And so what I did during that time was I had a camcorder over here and I set up and I went chronologically through my entire songbook that I'd photographed before I left Canada. And I saw every song and I wound up playing every song I've written. And I did like 400 4-song videos. And it's called the Dan Frechette Songbook. And so I wound up getting it posted all on YouTube private. It's all private, but it's me playing every song I've ever written. So it's like really cool because from there I took all of that and I turned it all into MP3s. And then I put it all on a playlist. And then I counted how many songs I actually had. I was like, oh, I have like 1,600 songs or something. So then I wound up running through, like I have a recording studio all of a sudden. A year later, I wound up picking up my recording studio from Canada. And I started, I was in a shed where I'm renting, and I have this shed. So I started off, all I had back then was one acoustic and I had a bass and I had an electric guitar. So I started by doing these I did an album called Praying for the World and a couple albums back then that were really sparse, just bare bones. And then I wound up getting drums, and then I wound up getting lap slide guitar, and then I wound up getting a couple other guitars and mandolins and banjos and dobros and all that stuff, which I already played, but I bought them again. And then I started adding them to my albums, and it's a lot of fun. I play all the instruments on my own records. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it because it's kind of like when you're a cook, and you're cooking up a new batch. You got cookies coming. So I got another 10-song batch of cookies, and I put it on Bandcamp. Bandcamp's a great site because here's the thing about Bandcamp. Bandcamp blows my mind because almost all the money goes to the songwriter when they put out music. But what really is amazing about Bandcamp is I was uploading albums on there, right? And I'm putting out, I think I got up to around 30 albums, and I was starting to wonder if they were going to come after me and go, buddy, this is too much music, man. Like, never happened. So I have 120 albums on Bandcamp right now, and I never heard a peep from these people. Like, it's astonishing how much music that they're hosting of me. And then there's also, I started to put stuff out on Spotify and YouTube music. Like I have a topic channel now with everything. All of that's great because it's nice to have the music out there.
Yeah,
it feels good, to say, hey, I wrote all these songs, and I'm also really trying to put out the stuff that I know is quality. I still have about 400 songs to record, and a lot of the list that's left over. No, but the list that's left over is not songs I don't think I'm going to pursue.
There's something else, Dan.
Well,
so Bandcamp, what does somebody do? Just go bandcamp.com or?
Yeah, and write my name, Dan Frechette, and then you'll see there's this Dan Frechette area for me. And it's like literally, if you click on full discography and scroll down, it goes down until I was a kid. It's hilarious. I put on the very first recording the other day because I found it. The very first recording I ever did. I put it on my very first. It's from 1990, and it's a song I wrote called "Her Name Is Shayna." There's this girl I had a huge crush on in school, and I wrote a song for her, and I put it on a little cassette tape. I found the tape the other day, and it's awful guitar. It's a horrible guitar I had when I was a kid. And I'm singing in my little high voice. That voice hadn't changed yet. Caviar on the plane to Hollywood. And
that was the first song you wrote?
Yeah. Her Name is Shayna. So it's like the very first thing. If you scroll all the way back to the beginning.
Wow.
So it's just, it's funny to have all that. I figured, hey, why not?
That's beautiful. Dan, I also would like to thank you for entertaining us here in the community, and
love it. Yeah.
I know you do a lot of events that you just do it. You're not getting paid or something, and
I get paid. I'm not going to do gas.
We appreciate you. What you do in town. So thank you for that.
I have to say though that I won't ever play for free. Maybe the odd charity event or something, but no,
Oh yeah,
I'm
I've
definitely a
noticed you've done.
full-time musician.
I noticed you've done some charity stuff around, so
Yeah,
appreciate
it's good to do. But yeah, the gigs I'm playing the most are the Salty Seal. I really like playing there.
Yeah, Salty Seal is a good, really great venue, and you're there when Tuesday night or
It's every second Thursday these days from like 8
okay
to 11.
every second Thursday,
And
and
I'm
you're a
playing.
you go in solo, right?
What I do is I show up and I just kind of go, what do you people want? Because sometimes there's folks from Central Valley and they want to hear Merle Haggard. And then there's people that are coming in and they got turtlenecks on and they want to hear Paul Simon and Garfunkel. But
Got it.
I tend to play whatever they want. So like if they want anything, like they want Doobie Brothers, they want Bob Dylan. I do a good Bob Dylan impression. In fact, my alter ego is Bob Dylan.
Yeah,
But,
you
uh,
got it.
Can gather in people wherever you roam. And admit that the waters around you have grown, right? And like Neil Young, like yeah. Oh man, look at my life. I'm a lot like you were. So like just all these impressions, right? Like I like doing this one. Hello, darling. This is great, darling. It's so nice to have you back where you belong. You're looking swell, darling. I can tell, darling. You're still blowing, you're still growing, you're still growing strong. I hear the room, right? So you just have fun with the crowd. It's all
That's
about
fantastic. Now you got the reputation of being the human jukebox, they call you, right?
Yeah, that's fun. I like that term. It's and then the people, they're very generous and kind, and they ask sometimes they'll put it on a paper or they'll come right up to me between songs and say, my wife and I are here. It's our anniversary. Would you play Harvest Moon? Sure. Here we go. Tune it down to D and play that first. And I really like that. And then there's times I'm playing reggae. I find reggae really happens around here. I like reggae. So you just gotta. I mean, I listen to so much music. I just actually backed up my computer. I had 32,000 songs on my computer that are like actual files that I wound up migrating onto Dropbox. So now the cool thing about that is if someone's like, hey, can you play this song? And I look it up on Dropbox, and if I'm not quite remembering how it goes, and then I have a reference of an MP3 of it, and then I also can look up the words because lyrics are, sometimes a little tough for me to remember all of them and what order they're in. So having the phone, it's really great because there's really no limits. If I know the song and if I like it, I can do it.
I heard you do a good version of Cindy Lauper. Can you play
Oh
it?
yeah. Okay, so the story with that is I made an album called AT's Done Bluegrass, and that album was a lot of fun. The AT's means AT's, like the 80s, but I spelled it like AT's. And so what I did is I made an album of pop hits from the 80s, all bluegrass style. And that was super fun. It's free on my Bandcamp because I didn't write the songs, so you don't have to pay for it. But it's nice to get the support when people buy the other albums.
Yeah.
But the point is that this winds up being a song that the girls just want to have fun, that I remember looking up the words to, and I didn't know who wrote it, right? I was going, who wrote this song? And it said on the top corner, Robert Hazard. And so I went, it made me think. I'm going, what would a Robert Hazard's version sound like? And I'm imagining some big old guy with a beard.
Yeah.
Some old, I'm Robert Hazard. So I'm thinking of that. Meanwhile, the actual Robert Hazard version, which I wound up hearing a few years later, is actually completely like, it's like, like that. It sounds like that, right? But the version I imagine, which wound up being on my bluegrass album, is imagine a banjo, imagine a bass, imagine a dobro. All right, come home in the morning light, my father said, when you gonna live your life right? Oh, daddy dear, you know you're still number one, but the girls just don't wanna have fun. Oh, the girls just don't wanna have, so they really want some fun. When the working day is done, those girls just don't wanna have fun. Oh, the girls. So anyway, that's fun to play that one, and
I love it.
I do Johnny Cash pretty fun too. So like, I hear the train a coming, rolling around the bend, you know. So I just have, it's just a fun gig, and I play my own songs sometimes. I sneak some of mine in there because I got this, you know, big huge dam about to burst behind me every minute of all these albums I've done. And I do like when people ask. Sometimes folks ask me to play my own songs, and that's a huge honor because I really miss. I used to do it more in Canada full time. Like I was more of a, that was what I did. People knew me as a songwriter there. So I'm, you know, getting known. People starting to hear my own stuff now, and that's cool. Yeah. And I have an Instagram called Dan Frechette Songs, and if you go on there, you'll hear me playing my own songs. So that's nice to have.
Yeah, you did a great show at the good old days.
I loved it. That Laurel and I loved that gig.
That was a great show. You and Laurel together, and you know, we stayed there. A few friends of ours and drank beer and listened to the music, and that was a great show.
That was I finally met you too.
Yeah, that's when we met. Yeah,
was great. And I remember you and Jeff Rothel. Yeah, you guys were just time. I think
we love it. He was he's the guy that mentioned you, like, you know, many months ago. He said, you got to listen to this guy, Dan.
He's an amazing guy. I love Jeff.
He sings everything. I go, wow, I'd like to run into him one day. And I'm so glad that we met. And you also do that, the Beatle, what is it? A Beatle Jam? What's that all about?
Well, I put that together for community, and I wound up getting a book back when I first moved here because I was, you know, kind of building up my stuff again. I'd gotten rid of all my stuff up in Canada. And one of the first books I bought when I moved here was called The Beatles Complete Chord Songbook. And you can find them on Amazon. They're $15 or whatever. And it was a book that when I looked at it, I went, all the chords are right in here. Like most of these songbooks, they're all over the map, right? Tabs online, they're all wrong. So this book, whoever did it, they must have hung out with Paul McCartney or something because all the chords are completely right. And I thought I could start a jam group around this book. So what I started with was a few people gathering around singing through Beatles tunes because I've missed people and I'm a people person. And, you know, I just said, oh man, this could get bigger. So I wound up putting a Facebook group together because people keep asking like, hey, when's the next jam? When's the next jam? And I set it up to go once every 2 months because I didn't want it to get to be too much, you know, something people miss and look forward to. So I set it up so that, you know, I have a mic, so I'm singing, and then people can hear the, you know, where we are at in the song. And eventually it got bigger where there's a drummer that joined us, a bass player. And now we do it every 2 months in various locations around the counties. And we just have a great time. It's usually a good 60, 70 people come. And there's a group on Facebook, if you want to join it, it's called Beatles Jam Group. And just send in, just make sure, I don't want to have people from Malaysia joining. I just want folks from these two counties mostly because I want them, the ones that are going to come, right? So if you join that group and you answer the little question, like, are you from around here? Yes, I'll get you in. And it'll be really cool to see you, you know. Because people come sing. Doesn't matter if you're a Beatle expert or not. There's people with ukuleles who know 3 chords there. There's folks who come and sing. And there's people. It just winds up being like a lot of good Beatle vibes and positivity.
I went to the last one and it was really a great event just to see everybody together in this community, just having fun and.
Yeah,
just all different people. There was, you know, guys with suits and ties on and whatever. I mean, shorts, whatever. The whole aspect of the community was there, and so that was really cool. So
so there's a lot. I'm going to put a plug for my friend, the Guitar Shop out in Santa Cruz. He is
Oh yeah.
Steve Crisp, really great. He actually did work on Buddy Guy's guitar, and he's worked on Stevie Ray Vaughan's guitar. Guy's a really guitar guy, man. So yeah, good to know. I keep on thinking he's gonna put the shirt on to make sure he gets a plug.
Oh yeah, let's give him a plug. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like plugging the good folks and the people that are, you know, they're small businesses and things like that. And that's another thing I like about the Beatle Jam is just taking it around nowadays to like small businesses that need a boost. And the Salty Seal, I mean, they've done so much for me. I wanted to have it there. Anyway, everything's been great. I've been loving just being a musician. It's a blessing. It's a God-given blessing, and just to have someone like you, you know, to warm anyone's heart with it, to make a difference. It's just, yeah, that's why I'm here. I'm glad that I'm on my trajectory, and I happen to be on the coast here at this time. And
well, we want you to stay here in this area. So.
Yeah. Hey, that's great.
Don't go anywhere.
Well, yeah, I got a band called Vinyl Revival too that I should mention. We're starting to play around a lot. And what the cool thing about Vinyl Revival is everyone in the band knows the same amount of songs as I do. So we could do requests. So like it's a band you could walk up to and say, hey, can you play this? And we'll play it. You know,
that's really great. So Dan, let's say somebody wants the revival to play, or you as a solo, or maybe you as a duet with your wife, Laurel. Do you have a website? How does someone get a hold of you?
Oh, it's pretty easy to find me, danfrechette.com. You can also, if you don't want to write my name out, because it's kind of a long-winded spelling, you can see it there, thankfully, but it's ramblingdan.com is the name I came up with, just so people didn't have to misspell my name. Right. But ramblingdan.com. And it's funny, a lot of people think I'm Italian, right? So Dan Frechette, but I'm French Canadian, but yeah, Frechette. Actually, if you pronounce my name in the French way, it's Daniel Ronald Joseph Frechette.
Perfect.
Yeah, Dan Frechette. Good enough.
Okay, so I want to just let all the listeners know that every other Thursday at the Salty Seal on Cannery Row, you're in for a treat with go there, go listen to Dan, request a couple of songs. Like when I was in high school, I used to listen to this, or when I was on my first date or whatever, this guy will play it. Also, go to that Beatles Jam group on Facebook, sign up, and you'll get the next date of when the next Beatles Jam is, because let me tell you something, it's fun, and you just feel a real form of community when you're doing it. So that's great. So Dan, we really appreciate you coming on, and
thanks, cousin Johnny,
and giving us the whole history of. That's a great story on how you.
I'm looking forward to sharing this with everyone online too. So
this is gonna be fun. So
do you do this every week? You have people every week on here? Or?
Yes, every Tuesday, but I miss a couple times, so but I try to do every Tuesday or every other Tuesday, or so on Buzzing with Cousin. So Dan, we're going to close out the show with thank you for coming on, and we've got a video of you and your wife, Laurel Thompson, singing or playing together, called Together Again.
Yay.
So here we go. And thank you, Dan, so much. Here we go.
If I could stay here, long time, then you know it's 'cause I love you deep inside. Take the cue, it's what you do, then you know at least that I'm a fool for you. I'm waiting for that special day when we can be together again, together again. I'm waiting for that special day when we can be together again, together again. Change me, I've changed for good, and now nothing will return me to the pain. And it's plain to see that you have made a miracle of me. I won't grow colder, I'll just grow older, yeah. Waiting for that special day when we can be together again, together again. I'm waiting for that special day when we can be together again, together again, together again.
Thank you so much. That was I got goosebumps. That's fantastic. So thank you everybody for coming on today, and everybody have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Dan Frechette, right on, bro. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.